Good morning everyone, welcome back, and this video will be our first for the second grading, and iikot ang ating usapan about server configuration. So first off is going to be the introduction to server computing, and then yung basic concepts, mga terms na karaniwan nating may encounter about servers. And then eventually papunta tayo sa server configuration. So pagdating natin doon, mostly videos, and then saka ko na lang i-explain kung para saan yung mga bagay na pipindutin natin during the configuration. So for now, we'll be focusing on the terms that we'll be encountering during these topics. So first, what exactly is a server? So pag sinabi nating server, wag kayo agad kakabahan. So very common, lagi nating naririnig kung kung yung term na server, pero ano ba talaga ang isang server? So by definition, simple definition is that a server is just a computer on a network that provides services to other computers within the network. Okay, so by definition, kung tatagalugin natin, ang isang server, nagbibigay lang siya ng access sa resources or files para sa ibang computers within the network. So pwede rin nating sabihin na kahit ang isang basic na workstation or computer ay pwedeng mag-act as a server. So paano nangyayari yun? So halimbawa, meron kang isang sabihin natin Windows XP computer sa isang bahay or sa isang office, sabihin natin na may 5 empleyado. So kailangan ko pa bang bumili ng isang actual server from Windows with licenses and all? So the answer is no. So even by just using an ordinary computer, Windows XP computer, pwede natin siyang gamitin as server. So some examples of that would be to act as a file server. Pag sinabi kasi nating file server, parang repository lang ng files yan. So ginagamit lang ang file server para ma-access ng mga tao within the network ang specific files. So halimbawa, sa isang bahay, meron tayong, sabihin natin, 3 computer. So yung isa doon, pwede nating gawing file server. So sa kanya lahat nakastore, lahat ng information, family pictures, music, movies, and then pag kailangang i-access ng nung dalawa pang computer, through file sharing, pwede natin siyang ma-access. So ang maganda ron, hindi kakain ng storage ng computer mo yung files, kasi nandun siya sa file server natin. So that's a basic scenario na kung saan ang isang ordinary computer ay pwedeng mag-act as isang server. So but for our topic and for the assessment na ginagawa sa TESDA, ang server na tinutukoy nila is yung pang enterprise na server. So yun ang i-configure natin. Kasi ang paggawa ng file server using yung tinatawag nating ordinary na OS, madali lang yan, file sharing lang yan. So alam ko by this time marunong na kayo ng file sharing. So yun. So server, marami tayong klase niyan. So meron tayong web server, gaya nung nabanggit ko, merong file server, game server, media server, application server, communication server. So different types of servers, depende sa kung paano mo siya i-configure at paano mo siya gagamitin. Ngayon, meron din tayong iba't ibang klase ng server operating system. So, the most common and yung gagamitin natin is the Windows Server. The one na inintroduce sa atin ni Microsoft. So, madami siyang versions. Meron siyang Windows Server 2003, merong 2008, merong 2012, etc. So, ang gusto ko sigurong maintindihan ninyo, hindi lang si Windows ang merong Windows Server. So, nandyan din si Linux. So, nandyan yung ating tinatawag na Red Hat, Ubuntu, Mac OS meron din. So, sa ano naman yun? Sa Apple naman. So, Windows Server. So, dito tayo magpo-focus. Windows Server is the operating system developed by Microsoft as part of Windows Network family, which is getting developed concurrently with Windows 10 OS. So, Red Hat, gaya nung nabanggit ko, mag-run through lang ako dito sa mga types ng operating systems. Hindi naman tayo magpo-focus dito. So, I think this is part of the module na ibinigay ko. So, pwede nyo itong reviewin doon. So, we have Ubuntu OS, CentOS, SUSE, Oracle, Linux Server. Okay, so sa part na to, ito yung mga terms and concepts na ma-encounter natin during this topic. So, very common, lagi niyang maririnig is Active Directory. So, what exactly is Active Directory? Active Directory is the brain of a Windows Server network. It is a database that keeps track of all the activities within the network, and it also gives us a centralized way of managing the network machines, users, and resources within the Active Directory. Okay, so basically, storage siya ng users, ng resources natin. Kung may mga printers man na naka-attach dyan, yan yung tinatawag nating resources. And then, network machines, ang tinutukoy niyan is yung computers. So basically, these three are part of the objects within the Active Directory. Nandyan din yung ating tinatawag na groups, and then organizational units, things like that. So lahat ng makikita natin sa loob ng servers, it's stored within a database called the Active Directory. Okay? Now, to fully maximize ang ating Active Directory, we need to promote our computer into a domain controller. Okay? So, a server running Active Directory domain services role is called a domain controller. You can think of it as a boss in your network. So, sinasabi nating boss in a network kasi si domain controller ang namamahala sa security authentication requests. So, paano niya ginagawa yon? So, si domain controller, ginagamit niya yung information within the Active Directory. So, basically, the difference between an Active Directory and a domain controller is that the Active Directory is just, as I've said, a database that stores just the information, while the domain controller is a server that runs the Active Directory. So, lahat ng data stored within the Active Directory, ginagamit siya ni domain controller for authentication and authorization of the users. So, dito nangyayari yung kung sinong user ang merong access sa isang file at kung sinong users ang walang access dun sa isang file. Same goes with printers. So, dito nangyayari sa ating domain controller. Okay? Next is the Active Directory forest. Okay? An Active Directory forest or forest is simply just the collection of the domain within the Active Directory. Kasi sa isang Active Directory, pwede tayong maglagay ng multiple domains. So, yung pinagsama-samang domains na yon, ang tawag sa kanya is a forest. So, walang sinabi na merong limit kung ilang domains ang pwedeng gawin sa isang Active Directory forest. But, sabi nga dito, for manageability, it is recommended that we use only 10 domains within a single forest. Okay, kasi masyado nang mahirap i-manage ang masyadong maraming domains. By the way, domains will be discussed just in a while. So, in case naguguluhan na kayo, ang dami namang meron ng domain name services, may domain, may Active Directory domain services. So, madidiscuss din natin yan kung ano yung domain. Okay, ito na. So, domain is a logical group of computers that share a central directory database. So, magsasite ako ng example. So, halimbawa, css.mnhs.org. So, yung .mnhs.org, yun yung tinatawag natin na domain. So, tayo ang nag-identify niyan as we configure the server. So, sabi dito, the computers are all named with part of the domain name like .mnhs.com, also called a suffix, and registered in the Active Directory database so it can be managed. Okay? So, lahat ng users under this domain, .mnhs.com, pwede siyang i-manage ng ating domain controller. Since it's been registered within the Active Directory database. So, mas malilinawan kayo dito once we get into the actual configuration ng ating server. Okay? So, for now, just take it all in. Then, pwede natin balikan itong mga definition na ito once nandun na tayo sa part kung saan nagko-configure na talaga or nag-i-install na tayo ng roles para sa ating Windows Server 2008. Okay? Now, server role. Server role, kanina ko pa din binabanggit. So, i-define muna natin siya. So, a server role is a set of software programs that, when they are installed and properly configured, lets a computer perform a specific function for multiple users or other computers within a network. It is recommended that a server not have too many roles. Okay. So, server role. Ang purpose ng server role is to identify what specific service ang gusto mong ipagawa sa iyong server. So, madaming roles. So, unang-una, yung nabanggit ko kanina is the Active Directory Domain Services. So, kailangan natin siyang i-install para ma-promote natin yung ating computer into a domain controller. So, yun yung purpose muna niya. Aside from others. Next is, andyan din yung DHCP. So, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So, ang trabaho naman niya is to broadcast dynamic IP addresses within our network. So, nandyan din yung print and document services wherein we manage the printers attached to the network. And then, obviously, the file servers. Nandyan din. Pwede. So, these are roles na may specific function. So, ang kailangan lang nating i-note dito is yung nasa bandang dulo. It is recommended that a server not have too many roles. Kasi, imagine kung yung server is acting as a DHCP server. Pa siya, file server pa siya. Ginawa mo pa siyang print servers. So, yung load doon sa ating computer, kahit gaano kalakas yan, there will come a time na magda-down yan dahil sa sobrang dami ng kanyang ginagawa. So, it is recommended na i-limit natin yung roles na ini-install natin sa isang server. Okay? But for this, for our lesson, we'll be doing the specific sets of server roles. We'll be installing specific server roles na hinihingi during the assessment ng TESDA. Para kasi isang gawaan yan pinapagawa during the assessment So, nandiyan yung DHCP, file server, print and document, remote desktop I think is kasama pa din. Of course, Active Directory Domain Services and the DNS server. So, lahat yon i-install natin. But in reality, sa tunay na buhay or yung ating tinatawag na enterprise level servers, bihirang-bihira mong makikita na sabay-sabay silang ini-install sa isang server. Okay? So that's it for the basic concepts of server computing. I hope na medyo nalinawan kayo about dun sa mga bagong terms na na-encounter ninyo. And if you have any questions, you have my phone number and my email address. We also have our group chat, so feel free to shoot me a question and doon ko na lang sasagutin. Okay? Thank you.